So I just got an exciting delivery. It is the brand new Festool Systainer SYS3 Starter Set. So this was just released a couple of days ago, and I received my order from Lee Valley Tools here in Canada. And this contains 5 of the Festool Systainers. These are plastic storage devices for your tools and related accessories. The majority of Festool power tools come in Systainers already, but these ones are empty, and it also comes with 4 pairs of rails to mount these to a cabinet that I have almost ready to go. So I'm excited about this. Is it worth $275 US? Let's take a look and find out. So in this video, I'm going to open this up, show you what the contents are, what you get for that $275 US or 375 Canadian, which is what I paid. And then I'll give you a little bit of my impressions over what you get and whether it's worth it. So let's take a quick look. Okay, so just before we open up this box, which is pretty big, just to show you the content. So it has a empty Systainer 137, which I think is that one, 187, 237, which is the height in millimeters of each of these. Then it has the M89 with 22 container organizer, and the 137 millimeter high toolbox, and then the mounting rails. So I'm gonna open this box and we'll see what's inside, which, well, I guess we know now, but let's take a look at them. All right, so it came in this nice box. Lee Valley also had another box around it. You'll notice in the background I actually have some of my DeWalt Tough System 1.0 as well as a T-stack for my track saw. But I did get on board the Festool train with my CT MIDI dust extractor earlier this year, which has been probably one of the most used tools that I have in my arsenal. And it's just great to be working almost dust-free with so many of my tools. Let's get this open. And this is actually the first tool or tool accessory that I pre-ordered, which feels kind of strange, but yeah, it is what it is. So at the top we've got just this protective cardboard. Then we have a box in here. Let's take a look at what's in here. Okay, so we've got the rails. We'll get another close-up of those in a few minutes. Then got some air-filled bags. And, everything else is connected. So one of the cool things with these Systainers is how they interlock together. And there we go. So got all 5 of them connected and looks good. So let's get these up on the bench and we'll talk through this stack of Systainers. Okay, so this is what we get. We have the toolbox. So again, the 137 millimeter, we have the 137 millimeter empty Systainer SYS3. So these are the 3rd generation Systainers. I believe Festool contracts Tanos to make these, but these containers are pretty well reviewed, albeit quite expensive. So $275 US for this set here, which is about a 30% discount if you were to buy all of them individually. And then we have the 187 millimeter, we have the 237, then we have the organizer at the bottom. And let's take a quick look at these, let's take a look at those in a few minutes. So these Systainers do interlock with, I think that this is called a T-lock. That just goes to the side. Oh, that'd be if you wanted to attach something to it. So turn it down, then they just easily come off, easily slide on, then you can interlock those. So pretty handy for the mobile workshop, and for me in a 1-car garage, I'm moving a lot of these tools downstairs at times and then into the garage, and I do some jobs offsite as well. So portability for me is not critical, but relatively important. This is definitely a luxury purchase. Not necessarily recommending that anybody goes out and does this. The DeWalt Tough Systems are generally pretty good for me, but they are a little clunky, and I really want to make these Systainers kind of my go-to for storing a number of my tools. But let's disconnect all of these and take a look at them each individually. Okay, so first up we have the 137 millimeter tall SYS3 TBM toolbox. So it's got this nice handle, open top. Looks like they've improved these a lot over the previous generation, which I did not own, but I was watching a few videos on those. And the handle in the front is a false handle. So this is just meant to be able to pull it out of the storage rack system. And Does have spots to put some screwdrivers and that sort of thing. So for me, my goal with the toolbox is to use this to basically fill with the tools that I'm kind of always going between the basement and the shop at home. So things like screwdrivers, wire strippers, stuff like that. So that's my plan for this, is to basically have it float with me wherever I'm going inside the house, and if I do have any jobs anywhere else. Next up, we have the, oh, those handles do lock in pretty well. So we have the SYS3 M 137. So again, 137 millimeters tall. Does have the T-lock system, and this one does have the handle on the front. So hopefully that's showing up on video all right. But basically you could carry it like this. So you can carry it like a briefcase, and yeah, that handle does stick down there pretty well. And inside, so this is just an empty box. Let's see. There we go. So just an empty box. It does have 3 plastic hinges at the top. Made out of very durable, hard plastic. And yeah, so it's exactly what I had expected. So for this one, my plan is to actually attach this to the top of my Festool CT MIDI. Actually, let's take a look at how that works. All right, so here we have the Festool CT MIDI, same as any of the CT vacs or any of the others that can take a Systainer on the top, but it's got the same T-lock mechanism there. And if we bring this Systainer over, just sets on like that, then you can turn that. And basically now I can carry my vacuum around like this and have a Systainer to store all of my accessories for the vac. So that is my plan for this smaller Systainer, is to use it to store the accessories for my vac. Next up, we have the SYS M187. So this is 187 millimeters high. No different from the other one, just the empty box, same handle, and it also has the real front handle, so you can carry this like a briefcase. These do have spots where you could put a lock around it if you wanted, although pretty easy for somebody to steal these. So not something that I'll necessarily be using, but I don't know exactly what I'm going to be putting in this one yet. This might be for my DeWalt 20 volt router. So I think that's what I'm going to be putting in here, and you can get some of the Kaizen foam that's specifically built to go in the bottom of these, so then you can pluck it out and kind of have that perfect fitting storage solution. So I think that's what I'm going to do in here. So I'll be able to check the size to see if I can fit the plunge base and the router in this. But that's my goal for this one. And let's move to the next size. So the next one is the 237 millimeter high. So this one does also have a false handle on the front. That's really just kind of meant to be that handle to pull it out from the rails. And again, just big empty container. I don't know exactly what I'm going to put in this one yet, but I do have a lot of drawers to go through. Probably put some Kaizen foam in this one as well. And yeah, so pretty happy with this. And in a few minutes, I'll show you exactly my plan where to put these. So these regular Systainers, I have a pretty good spot. They're going to be on the rails, and I think it's going to work out really well for me. And finally, as far as the Systainers is concerned, we have this organizer. Whoa, this is pretty heavy, surprisingly heavy. And what this is the SYS3 ORG M 89, so 89 millimeters high, and 22 ESB. So 22, I think, is how many containers are in here. So this is an organizer, and you can see through into it. I don't know if their previous organizers had that. So the only other Systainer that I've ever owned was actually for an ETS 125 that I had quite a while ago, and I did sell that off. So it's kind of nice to get back to these. And this one does also have that real handle to carry it along. And these ones are not cheap. So I don't know the actual price of these. I think it's a little over $100 Canadian for this one specifically. And I do really like it. I like the size of it. I like the heft. But I have a lot of the DeWalt, I believe, T-Stack organizers that generally work really well for a lot of my construction related material. But let's open this up and we'll see inside. So yes, they're 22 little containers of varying size. So these all have branding of bought inside. And I believe when I was researching this product that Festool, Systainer, and Bot partnered together on a number of things. So I think that they're kind of like a work storage optimization company. I could be wrong on that. But anyways, in this Systainer, so we have a lot of different sizes. And we notice these little nubs on the bottom and on the top, which presumably help keep these organized. And then when you have it closed, they would prevent any pieces from moving from one to the other, which is super nice, especially for my cabinet hardware where you can get into some really small screws and small pieces. So that's my goal for this one, is to use this for some of the higher end cabinetry work that I do, and trying to keep all those pieces organized rather than my DeWalt ones, which are primarily for construction. And I often keep my cabinetry things just in little bags and organizers that don't really work that well. So pretty excited about this one. If I find that I really, really like it, I'll probably get another one or another two of these. Yeah, so that's that. And finally, what we have are the SYS Rails. And so there are 4 pairs in here. Whoa, these are a little more substantial than I thought. So I knew that these were gonna be plastic, but these are pretty hefty plastic. Let's see if it comes with any hardware in here. Oh, so no hardware, but we do have a little bit of an instruction manual. Instruction sheet. Basically has some measurements on what size cabinets to put these in. For both, for medium size Systainer. So you'll notice that on all these, they all had M. They also have L, and I believe XL and XXL. So different sizes that changes the overall length of the Systainer. But they're all compatible with each other, which is super cool. And so with these rails, again, really nice plastic. So didn't come with any hardware, but I'm okay with that, given that everybody would probably have different needs as far as the hardware. And you even see on here, it actually has the distances, so 418 millimeters and 530 millimeters for the gap. So that's cool. Let's take a look at how these would connect to these Systainers. So let's pretend that we're sliding this in. Oh, okay, so that's pretty easy. And then, yeah, you'd be able to just pull it out. Just lift it up a bit and it will pull out. So yeah, so there you go. Anyways, I'm gonna grab the camera. I'm gonna show you exactly my plan on where to put these in my shop. So here we have a workbench that I completed last year, and we have this space underneath that I had originally just left open. I didn't know what to do with it, so I thought, oh, it's a great place to put my legs when I'm working at the table or working at the bench. But the reality is I don't do that. So this space has just kind of become a spot for clutter. And what I can do is essentially just put a sheet of plywood and a little bit of padding probably between 2 sheets of plywood. And then I can mount the rails on the left and on the right, and ideally fit probably 6 to 8 different Systainers depending on exactly what I'm hoping to store. So this is kind of a perfect spot for that. So that's where they'll be going. All right, so there you have it. So this is the Systainer 3 starter pack, 3 empty Systainers. We have the toolbox, we have the organizer, and we have 4 pairs of the rails. And so again, this does retail for $275 US, so it's not cheap by any means. $375 Canadian at authorized Festool dealers and those that are choosing to carry them. I'm not sure about international availability, but I'm excited to have these. It's something that I've wanted for a little while. I know that something like the Milwaukee Packout or expanding my DeWalt Tough System or T-Stack would be a much more economical approach, but these will fit perfectly with where I want to put them, and I'm just excited to have them. So I will have a couple of follow-up videos probably on how I install them into that cabinet, as well as kind of sharing some of my thoughts on organization within these Systainers and whether I think it's worth it to those that, that really may want something like this. So thanks for watching. Leave a comment below about the type of mobile tool storage you like to do.
And yeah, let me know what you think. So thanks for watching and see you in another video soon.